morning, my name is Jennifer and this morning we are going to make butter cheese. It's a German cheese. It's supposed to be rich and creamy and semi-hard, semi-soft that everybody likes. I've been making this cheese a lot. It's kind of becoming a standard. It's one of the staples. But today I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation, which is what I tend to do. So buckle your seatbelts, here we go. I don't have quite enough milk. I only have those 3 containers. And they're not even all full fat because I made ice cream over the weekend, so I had to skim one. Actually, these are fuller than I thought. Huh, that's good. It's gonna splash. I'm finding more milk in the fridge, so I might get close to being a full batch. So this is probably right around 7, if this is 8, yeah, we're almost to 7 gallons. That's not bad. The situation is that my cheeses sometimes feel a little bit too dry, not quite as creamy soft as I want them to be. So I've been doing some research, and from what I understand, I should be stirring the curds less, or I should be letting them sit in the whey less, or I should be cutting them larger. So maybe I'm overcooking my curds, just generally speaking. I'm following recipes, I'm following times, but I'm still like, maybe I need to adapt what I think is done. Maybe it's a little bit before that. That's the spot at which I need to stop. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of that I'm going to do today, is really watch the stirring process and maybe shorten it a little bit. Because we are calf sharing, and so Fiona is still nursing on Emma, Emma holds back some of her cream. And so even though we have full fat Jersey milk, our cream line is not that big because Emma's a little stinker and holds it for her calf, which I suppose is a good mother, but still. So I am going to be adding store-bought heavy whipping cream, 2 quarts, because it's butter cheese. And adding more cream, I think it's just gonna make it better. And I used to do that a lot when we had Daisy as our cow, who was a Holstein, and her milk, she gave just less cream in general, so I would often just boost it with cream, and it was good. So I'm going to try this with this cheese. So my goal is to make a butter cheese that is rich, creamy. Like, I want to be able to slice it with a cheese slicer or a knife, but I want it to be almost like, not like you can spread it with a knife, but just a few shades less than firm, if that makes sense. Like soft and creamy and delicious. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to dump in heavy whipping cream. I'm following Gavin Weber's recipe for this, and I'm also following Kate from Venison for Dinner. I have her recipe, which is very similar, and so I've been looking at that one. I've also watched Lisa at Cheese 52, watched her video. This is a very common cheese. It's very simple, it's very easy. It's a good beginner's cheese. I'm just trying to work at my own technique, trying to get a better cheese, a better butter cheese. Like, I'm jacking this up a little bit. I've decided to do 1 cup of yogurt, just because I think that would work. And I'm gonna even dump in this whey, because you can also use whey as your thermophilic starter. So this is from September 10th. Yeah, that's an ample cup. It's a pretty simple process. You heat up the milk to 102 degrees, you add your culture, which will be my yogurt and my calcium chloride, let it sit for however long it says. Then you add your rennet, let it sit for however long it says, cut the curd, stir it a little bit, take off some of the whey, add in some warm water to raise the temperature a few more degrees, stir it a little bit more, put it in the molds. Pretty much anybody can do it. We're aiming for 102, it's at 62 degrees. While this is still heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and thin my yogurt. And we're at 102. Ooh, splashing. All right, culture's been added. Now I'm gonna rest this for 40 minutes and come back and we'll do the calcium chloride and the rennet. It has been 40 minutes. Actually, it's been longer because I was doing things. Now we are going to do the calcium chloride. You can see it's a little bit like wispy, smoky on the bottom. Shake it up. That's the calcium chloride. This is not necessary when using raw milk. I've done an experiment before and it does give me a little bit higher yield of cheese, but it's necessary this time because I put in the store-bought heavy whipping cream that has been pasteurized. I sometimes have trouble with my cheeses getting a little bit on the rubbery side, and that is due to too much rennet, so I always scale back my rennet. Plus, I think raw milk sets up better. That might be a myth, but I think it's true. I'm kind of excited about this cheese. It's looking really creamy and rich. Instructions say to wait for 40 minutes. So I'll be back in 40 minutes. Now we're gonna check for the clean break. Oh yeah, it's gonna have a clean break. Look at this. Do you see those swirls in there? Like that swirl and these like shadows. I'm not sure why, because I stirred it slowly as I pulled it up, but it seemed like it set with a little bit of a swirl. That might be bad. But here's the check. Oh, there, lots of whey. To check for the clean break, you just pull up, straight up. Look at that break, totally clean. In order to get a creamier cheese, like I said, we're gonna cut the curds a little bit bigger. We're gonna stir for less time. We're gonna try to like keep as much of the whey in this as possible. Well, not as much, but you know, like be very gentle. So I'm gonna cut these, it says 1/2-inch cubes. I'm just gonna cut them 1/2-inch cubes.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.
Gonna let it rest for 5 minutes so the curds can heal and just like firm up a little bit. I'm gonna start stirring by hand, and I'm gonna gently stir this for 20 minutes and break up if there's super huge lumps, but probably not very much. I'm gonna try to keep them fairly large and go slow and no more than 20 minutes. I'll show you when I'm done with this. I'm halfway through the stirring process and I wanted to show you how these curds are. They are fairly firm and I'm just splitting them with my hand like that. You can see lots of whey is coming off, but they're still quite big. Probably because this is 102 degrees. It's gonna be a firmer set curd in terms of it's like drier on the outside and wetter on the inside. Where when they're like 90 degrees, they're all just kind of flubbery all over. So when I say gently stirring, this is what I'm doing for gently stirring. It is not much. I'm worried a little bit that I'm not cutting these up fast enough. So I'm just kind of quickly finishing up breaking curds. And I am actually doing more mashing. Don't know, oh, don't know, that's bad, good or bad. But when I say mashing, I just mean like that, kind of like mush. These feel very buoyant and springy and strong, so I don't think it's gonna hurt them too much. Sometimes curds feel super tender and susceptible, vulnerable. You have to baby them. These feel like they'll bounce. And they feel like they also will not break up on their own as I'm stirring it all. So that's why I'm kind of wanting to get this done. I feel like the Caerphillies and some of the cheeses that have been bad before have had curds in them that are like this, and they never got broken. And so it locked in too much of the whey and then they didn't do their thing properly. So I'm wanting those to get broken up. I think we're good. But I can't stop, can I? Something so gratifying about this. So now we add 120 degree water. I'm gonna run some hot water into here, and I had boiled this. Boost the heat. So now it says we're supposed to take off half of the whey. Oh, lots of curds. So you can see how that's coming up to the top, all the curds. So I only got that much whey. You're supposed to get half of the whey off, but I didn't. I only got maybe a gallon. So I'm gonna start adding hot water and stirring, and then I'll take off more and stir a little bit more. So I'm gonna do it in steps. I don't wanna stir too much because the whole goal is to not stir this cheese too much, but I do need to get off more of the whey and get this to 108 degrees. Oh, we're only at 98, it dropped. I haven't even gotten back up to 102. Not even 101. I'm gonna let this sit for a couple minutes and then I'm gonna pour off more whey. And in the meantime, I'm gonna heat up more water and get ready to keep raising this temp. I'm losing curd. This is not knitting very much at the bottom. Hotter water, yikes. Rated 105. I'm wishing those a couple big ones. 107, that's good. How much more water do I have? Just a bit. This will be 108. Yeah, there we are. We're at 108. Now we're supposed to stir for 10 minutes. Let's just check and see what the squeezing is like. So if I take these curds and I squeeze them, they're kind of holding together already. They're not sploosh, well there they sploosh all over, but no, it's not quite done. Some of them look like they're beginning to hold, but not quite. Let's see what it's like in 10 minutes. First of all, this is what I'm concerned about. These little blubbery flubbery pieces that you break open. Like, is that a problem if I have pieces like that? They feel dry on the outside, but wetter on the inside. And I thought they were supposed to be uniform, but maybe not. So this is all feeling rather luscious and good, like a high yielding cheese. For the squeeze test, there's the cheese. Go squeeze it. And they said if it splooshes out around your hands, like that's bad, like cottage cheese. It does a little bit, but not much. And does it hold together and then break up? You squeeze and then it holds. It's not tight. Let me try a smaller handful and make it tight. See, it's this, if I'm squeezing really hard, it splooshes. So I'm assuming you're not supposed to squeeze that hard. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's done. It's supposed to sit here for 10 minutes now, and then I'm going to pour off the whey or scoop out the whey as much as I can. Let's give it a good stir. 10 minutes. We're gonna take off this whey and get this into the press. I'm pushing down with the base of the cup at this point and leaving the mouth up. I have seen a trick where you take a cheesecloth and you lay it over the curds and tuck it under and then pull it up and you have all the curds. I'm gonna try that today because I cannot manage this on my own. I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh my goodness, I'm not tall enough. Let me get a chair. Try to flip this in. Jeez Louise. Whew. No, it did not work. I can't do that. Oh, geez. Okay. Nope. We're gonna do it this way. This has made it so much worse now. Should not have done it that way. I do not approve. Do not approve. This curd looks amazing though, and I'm making a huge mess, as is my custom. The camera's gonna shut off, so I'm gonna talk quick. My battery's dying. This gets like 11 pounds of pressure, so barely any pressure for the first 30 minutes, and then I'll flip it. Gonna try to press this low and slow. Oh dear. So it's good this was not a 8-gallon cheese. Guess it wouldn't have fit. These curds feel delicious. You can see how these are like still squidgy. Actually, they feel pretty dry. They feel pretty good. They're fairly large compared to how they normally are. You see the size of a thumbnail? There's little ones in here too, like that. They're pretty juicy. Tastes good. I put it in crooked, and then I kept kind of pushing this part in, but it has a little lip, but it'll even out as we flip it. Saying this for the record, but when I tasted these curds, they tasted delicious, but I tasted a fatter curd, and I thought I tasted a little bit of maybe acid. So just saying that, not sure what all that means. Well, this is one topped off cheese. It's so pretty. That's gorgeous. I love how big that is. This is by far my biggest cheese because I've never had one that stayed up this high, I think. I love how it goes in right there. It's kind of like a vase or something. All right, let's flip this mama. Oof, it's soft. Goodness, this is beautiful. Can I get it back in? Good one. A fat butt cheese. It's still sitting above. This is still not sitting even. I'm gonna have to give it some time to go down a little bit more and then squeeze it in. It says this is supposed to be pressed at 24, 25 pounds for the next 9 hours. It's 1 o'clock, so that's at bedtime. I'm probably actually gonna flip it one more time, like maybe around supper time. I'm gonna like come back and check this in 30 minutes and try to make sure it's adjusted so this lip is going down in and it's pressing the cheese evenly. But other than that, I'll leave this go for the next 4 hours. But I'm having trouble with it going down around the edge. You can see how there's a little lip there. And I want to make sure this is fitting in here and not getting caught on this. It's sticking a little bit. I'm going to get a new cloth. Now let's see if we can get this down in. Is that even? No, 30. That's good. Make it fit in. That is completely at even.
Ooh, cheese.
£10 freaking pounds. Am I reading that right? There's no way I made a 10-pound cheese. 10 pounds, 6 ounces. I have created a monster. What the heck?
So it doesn't eat you like Frankenstein's monster did.
John, do you understand this?
Yeah, she's really
6
happy.
gallons of milk makes a 10-pound cheese?
Maybe it's the new method you use.
Oh my goodness, this thing is huge. I do not know how this is gonna work out. This is my monster cheese, my Butterkäse, butter cheese. That is extra creamy. It has been brining now for 40 hours. So now it's time to let it air dry. I think we have enough salt in it. Haha! Look at this. Look at this monster cheese. So big. I actually want to weigh it one more time. I feel like I need to use 2 scales. 10 pounds, that just feels so wild. Okay, on this scale. Now it's down to 10 pounds like even. It's this brining is losing its way, so that would make sense. They're exactly the same, 10 pounds. This, my friends, is actually a 10-pound cheese. It's for real. I'm not imagining it. My scale's not wrong. I double checked with scales. It's a 10-pound cheese. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? I'm gonna let this air dry for a few days, and then we'll have to figure out how to backpack it because it's not gonna fit in a bag like this, not even cut in half. It's gonna have to be like redone somehow. So exciting. Look at that. It's like almost touching the top of the tent covering thing. It's really big. It's pretty dry, but it's Looks great, smells great. I'm just gonna let it go for another day or so. So I made this cheese on Monday, got it out of the press Monday night. It brined until Wednesday morning, and then it has been air drying from Wednesday until now, Saturday morning. So it was 10.5 pounds when we put it into the brine, and when we got it out of the brine, it had lost 1/2 pound. So I'm gonna see what it is now. 9 pounds, 10 ounces. So it dropped another 6 ounces. But let's cut this in half and then see if we can get it into the bag. Oh, it sounds a little bit wet. I can see a little bit of the whey running out. Can you see that wetness in there? Is it glistening? Yeah, right there, you can see. So, I'm gonna dry salt it. Change of plans, we're not backpacking. So to dry salt these, we'll just set them upright, and I'm gonna sprinkle some salt on top. And hopefully that will draw out a little bit more of the whey. This might be a mistake. It also might not be. Aren't we just making like the middle be part of the rind? That's kind of what we're doing. So it's just like 2 individual cheeses now. We'll give this a day and see how it's doing. I'm worried they're gonna be too salty, like back when I did the Lancashire. There's a little bit of moisture coming off of them still. But other than that, this has a little bit of a rind now, right there. It feels a little rindy. So I'm going to use a paper towel and just pat this dry. That salt dissolved on there. It's not even really that wet. A little bit. I push down a little bit of moisture. So maybe I shouldn't have salted it partway through. I don't know. It smells really good. Very neutral and sweet. So I was thinking maybe I should let this.
Do you mind?
I was thinking I should let this air dry even longer, but I am not going to bother. The plates have just some salt on, but it's not even any real liquid. So we're gonna say that's done. So here's the cheese, 2 wheels, and it'll be ready in a month, and we can try it then.